we're back for another edition of the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast. It's Jonathon Howe alongside the Beef. Corby Daniels, what's going on, brother?
Not much, Jonathan. Just another week in the books and some more racing to talk about.
Yeah, it was a busy one, of course, as always. Schedule is winding down. I know for my track that I work at most often, Maryville Speedway, the Sportsman Championship wraps up this weekend. I mean, it's already in the bag. Cody McPherson's track titleist. He's got 12 wins in the year. I don't think that's a surprise by any means. But we're approaching championship week 2 for the Oshweekend Speedway, folks, and things got a little more interesting with some new faces in victory lane, at least in terms of the 360s. Now, this was a Great Lakes sprint race, and I think the big story on top of the actual racing itself was the roughness of the track. I don't know if you were able to catch any of the things on G-Force. I went out on Friday night to visit with some friends, but I did spend some time watching hot laps and time hot laps and heat races. And there were some pretty good ruts, some pretty crazy stuff, and some unfortunate wrecks that happened due to the surface, which you're just going to have that, unfortunately, sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say one of the rougher tracks I've seen this year for sure. I think at least for Oshweekend, it's probably the roughest it's been. But it was kind of a deal of they maybe had the track open up a little bit, like they were farming it, and during the middle of the week, and it rained heavily. I remember I saw a video that Glenn put up with water just everywhere at the racetrack. So that water got down the racetrack and caused the middle to just be a farmer's field, and definitely tore some equipment up, and definitely some guys that were not happy with how the track surface was. But yeah, like you said, you gotta just run with the cards you're dealt, and Darren Dryden picks up the win in the 360, and I think it was his first win of the year.
Yeah.
So congrats to Darren on getting that win and getting cowboyed up on the top side to get it done.
Yeah, first one at Oshweekend. I think he's the first one other than Nicky and Dylan Westbrook to win a sprint car race, at least a 360 race here at Oshweekend this season. Now, he did start from pole, so took advantage of that. Westbrook started up there as well. Nick Sheridan brought it home in third. Josh Hansen, Ryan Turner rounded out your top 5. I haven't gone back to watch the feature exactly just yet, but I have seen lots of discussion, and I had a few people telling me about Ryan Turner, I guess, was not afraid of those bumps and those ruts. He was apparently just absolutely sending it. I think there's a rumor. I don't know if it actually, I haven't seen it. So if anybody who was photographing that night has the photo, I thought I heard that there was a photo where he went through the corner and hit one, and like all 4 wheels were off the ground. I don't know if it was maybe a screen grab from the G-Force broadcast or something, but somebody was talking about the fact that that 15 car was basically airborne, but he was still moving forward. So that's pretty badass. But Great Lakes Super Sprints running with 30 entries at Oshweekend, 24 started. Hard Charger, Phil Grassman, shout out. Moving on to the crates. Jacob Dykstra, once again, keeps his winning ways up ahead of Eric Gledhill. Jesse Costa, Brett Stratford, Andrew Hennessy round out your top 5 in that one. Dykstra really starting to open things up in that championship with just a couple weeks left.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think there's going to be anybody to catch him. It's pretty much. I think this coming week's the last week. So, there might be 2 weeks left because Nationals is the middle of September. So, yeah, see what happens there. Do you have the points up? Where's my boy from the beginning of the season? My pick.
Oh, Lance. Hang on. Let me see here. I'll get those points up for you in your tab. So we're looking ahead at the crate sprints here. Dykstra up on top of the points by he's only 79 up. So I mean, with 2 weeks left, because based on my math, they raced this Friday for back to school backpack night, and then championship night is on September 5th. So there is time for Costa to get back in the mix, but he's gonna have to win it. Maybe Stratford might be too far back because I always forget with Oshweekend. I know at Merrittville, the most points you can make up in a single night is 60, assuming a guy doesn't take the feature, and you win it. 60 points is, I think, the max. Yeah, I think it's about the same, right? Yeah. So Brett might be a little bit too far back for something like that to happen. Jesse Costa, though, 79 points back, has a chance here to make it interesting going into the last week,
Yeah.
should the cards play out for him. You were asking about Lance Erskine. He's sitting sixth in points right now.
Okay, not bad.
He's, what is that? I think he's about 7 points based on my math. I mean, I guess I could just blow up the screen and see it a little bit bigger. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. He's got 6 points to make up to get inside the top five in points on Holly Porter, who's just ahead of him. And then still actually he could like realistically get up even to fourth or third even. I mean, Stratford's only 60 points, 65
Mhm.
points ahead. So I mean, it's not out of the question
Yeah.
if we're saying that Jesse Costa could have a shot at the Dykstra title or at Dykstra for the title, then I would say that your boy Lance has a chance to get up as high as third in points if he can put together a couple magical weeks here in the crate sprints. Moving on down the line, we gotta say tough break for your boy. The big dog
Yeah.
had himself a pretty nasty one, and I think that car pretty much destroyed. Took the points leader right out, a major pile up. That car was just mangled.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I did hear that it was pretty beat up. So hopefully, I know at one point, I don't know if he still does. I know Ryan did have two cars identical. So uh, hopefully, you can get that backup car just as fast as the primary and keep
Mm-hmm.
keep on trucking.
Yeah, and I do believe he does have that backup car. I think you're correct on that, but it sure makes the points battle interesting because now it's just 16 separating Dave Bailey, who did go on to win that feature. He is 16 points back of Ryan Beagle with just a couple weeks left. Banger of a championship coming down here. Trevor DeBoer just top 10 in the field, top 5 in the field to death in terms of that third place spot
Hmm.
in the title. Not necessarily out of it if Bailey and Beagle both find a way to have trouble. He is lurking there, but somebody's got to get on the win column besides those two if they're really going to make any kind of major dent. Just it's wild to me. Those two dominate the division. Just
It's,
two wins, two winners in that class at Oswego. Just Beagle and
yeah,
Bailey all season.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Over on the mini stock side of things, I mean, it honestly it couldn't be any different. I mean, I think we counted it out like what 10 different winners or something like that last
Yeah,
week, something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
And now you can add another new one as John Lubeck gets the Mustang in victory lane, and that was cool to see because John's he's like one of those guys just dialed in, showing up to racetracks as often as he possibly can. Um, I think it was pretty cool. He hasn't started every race at Oshweekend, so he's a little further back in the points table, but
Yeah.
still cool to get to victory lane. And he's had some pretty good performances at Oshweekend this season. And Tim DeBoer sits on top of the table there, 52 points up now on Jeff Elsliger. Riley is 75 points back. There's a tie for fourth between Jillian Hills and Nick Erskine. There are, what is this? Eight drivers within 100 points of each other at the top of the standings.
Wow.
So it's far from all settled in the middle stock or the Insta installation mini stocks, I should say. We didn't talk about the 360 points, but I'll just give a quick update. Westbrook did gain a little bit on Nick Sheridan, I think, based on my math. 23 points back now, Nick sits from Westbrook. So time is there for Nicky. We'll see.
Yeah,
It could get
it's
interesting.
doable.
Darren Dryden moves into fourth, or at least sits in fourth now. Ryan Turner's 53 back in third place. So there's for Westbrook to have 6 wins in 8 features, he's not as far ahead in the
Yeah.
points as you might think. It's not
Yeah.
like it's that short amount of races. I think is the big reason that it's like that. I don't know if you agree with
Hmm.
me, but with
Yeah.
only 8 features, like it's not like one guy can really just run away with it.
Yeah, for sure. And especially with Nick running as good as he is and being consistently either right behind Dylan or up in the mix,
Mhm.
that's what's keeping it real close.
Yeah, and I mean, like looking okay, so Westbrook and Sheridan have both finished 7 out of 8 races in the top five. Um, Ryan Turner's finished 7 out of 10 or 7 out of 8 in the top 10, and then you've got back to seventh place Tyler Palace with guys who have finished at least 6 times in the top 10 in 8 races. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of consistency amongst the 360 class right now at Oshweekend Speedway. Let's shift gears over to Merrittville, and we'll touch on the results there. and the point situation heading into the last couple weeks there. Freddie Carlton back in victory lane for, I believe, win number 2 on the season, if I remember correctly. I
Yeah.
had Daryl Fairway, Justin Sharp, Brad Rouse, Shane Pierce. Freddie started on the outside of the front row, just kind of drove away with it. Beef. It wasn't a crazy contest. Man, Daryl Fairway, though, is knocking on the door. Man,
Yeah.
I really thought maybe Saturday might be his opportunity, but I don't think he got enough cautions to fall the way he needed. The other guy that really was in that mix and chasing down Freddie a lot of the time was Pete McNell. If you go back and watch the drone footage, he was up there for a long time, started fourth, was running down Freddie. I think even took the lead for a split second there, maybe led a lap or two, and then
Yeah.
Freddie got back by on a restart. And yeah, man, it's like Pete's running out of time to keep that winning ways going. I think last 2 seasons he's won a race, and then I think the year before maybe he hadn't won or something like that. So I would like to see the 42 back in victory lane. I'd like to see another new winner before the season's out, honestly. Just
Yeah.
see if it plays out that way. Gary Lindbergh had himself a night, got spun out by James Friesen early. Then I think he got penalized for contact. Fought back to 10th, but I mean, it didn't super matter in terms of the points
Yeah.
there. Oh, hang on, I'll get a call there. Let me just close that out. So shifting gears, let me look over the points for the mods. Gary is firmly in control of this title as it stands, 94 points up on Pete. So, I
Yeah.
mean, if Pete could have finished up top, like I can't remember what the incident was that dropped him back, but it's like he just got out of the groove one time on one lap and he just
Yeah.
got freight trained to the back and just couldn't get back down to the bottom and or back down into a racing line, and it just kind of killed that night for him. But because he ended up finishing, I think behind. Yeah, he did finish behind Gary. So he was set to eat into the lead had that not happened, if he could have even hung on for the second. So
Yeah.
I think that pretty much all but hands that title to Gary. I mean, it's not official yet. 60 points is our magic number. He sits at 94 up on Bicknell. Worst, Gary's going to finish his second, though.
Yeah.
Looking over at the sportsman ranks, after Matteo Panante gets himself a first-time win, he's back. It's Cody McPherson back in victory lane. Started 15th, gained 14 spots, took the win ahead of Nigel Pentecoski. Like, I don't. I always think about starting like a meme page or something for the racetrack, or just for Southern Ontario memes or something like that.
Yeah.
And the only meme I can think of for Cody McPherson is that Thanos meme where it's like I'm inevitable or whatever like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy just like every time a young driver or whoever's having this great run, it's just somehow Cody finds his way to the front and then just takes them to school on a restart or blows by them on the outside, like whatever it is. But you got to think it's just making all these guys, hopefully, they're learning something and they'll be a little bit stronger, a little bit better going forward. Because I mean, they've got one of the best in the business to watch and
Yeah.
study and try to follow while you're out there, right?
Yeah, I mean you gotta just if you're a young driver at racing at Maryville against Cody or anywhere against Cody, you really need to just pay attention to what he does, study it, and try to apply it yourself and see what you can do. I mean, it's not all what Cody does behind the wheel. Setup of the car matters obviously. So,
Mm-hmm.
but Rick and him got that car dialed in, and he can just wheel it anywhere and make it go forward.
Definitely, right? So he gets the win ahead of Nigel Pentecoski. Noah Mamo also was up there battling out with Nigel for a little bit there in terms of getting to victory lane. Mitch Dumont with a solid effort. I'm nominating Mitch Dumont for best looking car of the year. I don't know what it is, but
Good looking
maybe
car.
it's a great looking car, man. Like it's got that like. Remember Dale Jr. had that one Exalta car where it like was yellow
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
faded up to the red. I feel like I don't know if that was the inspiration or if he drew inspiration somewhere else. I'd love to. I'll have to ask Mitch one of these days. But that, and then he's got kind of like a chrome number almost style. Like I think that's
Mhm.
a really sharp looking race car, and I hope he keeps that one looking that way for a little while. Doug Walsh rounds out the top five. Got to give Doug Walsh some props, man. I mean, like that's a guy who I just like. Each week, it's like you know, it can be up and down for his seasons, and he has good runs, and then he maybe gets caught up in something or whatever else. But like, if you give him that track position, he's done a really good job of not losing it. And
Mhm.
another one I want to give a huge shout out to is maybe this is I don't have the stats in front of me to say this is his best performance ever, but Tyler LaFontaine brought home sixth after starting 14th in the Sportsman. I think that might be a career best, or at least in terms of keeping his nose clean, moving forward, all that sort of stuff. It had to be one of the best performances I've seen Tyler Afonso have since moving up from the mini stocks into the sportsman ranks. So shout out to him for finishing sixth.
Nice. Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he's a consistent like every week runner, is he?
Let me see if I can see the points if he's started everything. I don't think he has. I think,
Yeah, I think he's
I
just periodically.
yeah, and I think he's a little bit limited by equipment sometimes too. I mean,
Yeah.
so he finished. He's got 11 starts out of a possible 16. So yeah,
So
like you say,
okay.
he's not. He hasn't been there for every single one.
Yeah, yeah.
But he does have two top tens on the year. So I'm going to say that sixth place one was probably his best finish of the
Best.
season and
Yeah.
maybe best of the career since running up into sportsman. And
Listen.
he's doing a good job, man.
Yeah.
I liked that. I liked that
He
effort. I liked that
was
performance.
he was always fast in the mini stock. So hopefully he can just keep working on his sportsman program, and maybe he'll get just as fast as he was then.
Sure seems like he's got the talent for it if he can get that equipment to catch up, right? So, who's your stocks? Rob Murray back to victory lane. I think that's win number 2 as well for him. Made a great comment in victory lane. I think he said, what did he say? He's like, I think most people thought I was going to get suspended again before I would ever win a race again or something like that. So,
That's funny.
yeah, I don't want to misquote him, but it was a pretty good comment that made me chuckle in victory lane. So that was awesome. I was super happy for Rob. Great stuff. He wins it ahead of Kyle Pellrine, Dave Bailey, Mark Fawcett. Go Fast Teeple with a top 5. Gonna look at the standings here because Pellrine has been slowly but surely eating into that Bailey lead. Like he's sitting 58 points back, so he's gonna need some help
Yeah.
in the next couple races and a couple weeks. But if Pellrine can finish ahead of Bailey for the next couple ones, it's going to get at least close. And next week,
Yeah.
this next weekend is going to be a big one. Obviously, with that magic number being 60, Bailey just has to
Hmm.
finish like basically ahead of Pellrine, and he locks up
Yeah.
that title
Yeah.
for Merrittville once again.
Yeah, Kyle's been definitely chipping away and getting better and better and better after the last couple of years that I've watched him race. So, good to see that he's up there challenging for points championship, and we'll see how the cards fall. Maybe he can get it done.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be close. We'll see. You never know what could happen, right? Tyler Winger, he's been having such a hot season, man. It's cool to see the 4 car. It's a little bit of a change up. Like he's always kind of been one of those guys who can go off and crack off a couple wins on a calendar year.
Yeah,
But this year it's kind of felt like again, I don't have it from week to week in terms of the way I'm looking at it, but it kind of feels like Winger has been the guy almost all season long
yeah,
and that's awesome to see. So he's up 83 points on Josh Slater, Sean F. Toddy, RJ Pitts, and Brent Bigelow, still hanging on to a spot in the top 5. But that car has just been so ill. I don't know. I feel like I don't know how Dan Curving feels about this, and I'm sure Dan will maybe be tuning in and maybe he can send me a message or whatever. But it feels like he may have given Brent the kiss of death on the show. Remember when we had him on, we were talking mod lights. He was like, "Yeah, Brent's car, he's gonna have the
yeah,
bells and the whistles and all that good stuff," and da 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 da, and just hasn't quite panned out for Brent this year that way.
yeah, yeah. Definitely not the year that Brent's been wanting, I think. But Tyler Winger definitely putting on a good showing this season. I saw it was when I was watching the Weed Sports Super Dirt Car Series race. He was down there when they had the mod lights. So cool to see him go to some other tracks. And not sure where he finished, but he looked good in his heat race. But
Mm-hmm. And we'll wrap up with the All Star Concrete 4 cylinders. Kenny Hare started 13th, gained 12 spots to go ahead and finish first in this one ahead of Ray Sorrenzia. Sierra Robinson with a solid podium effort. Alex Riley, Jeremy Cooper round out your top 5 in that one. The title definitely got a little more interesting there with Kenny Hare now 62 points back. So Alex Riley can clinch with a finish ahead of Hare based on my rough math this weekend if it plays
mhm.
out that way. Mason Anderson, Hannah Rothwell, Syracuse round out your top 5 in the points. Something I love and I want to shout out for sure is in the mini stock division. Obviously, it's kind of an entry level series. It's a budget series. You can get into it for a little bit less money than some of the other racing divisions, and it's also now proving to be a spot where we can see women drivers come up ahead and be competitive and not just show up and race, but actually be in the mix. Sierra Robinson has been hugely impressive this year, winning like I want to say she's won like 6 or 7 heat races. Honestly, like really impressive stuff from that camp. Syracuse has been good. Obviously, she's got a couple wins at Merrittville in the bug. Hannah Rothwell's took a hard rollover this week, but for the most part, has had herself a pretty successful campaign as well. So I just want to say that's super awesome to see, and I don't see in I think oddly enough, I think I've missed both the autograph nights this year at Merrittville Speedway, so I don't see what the autograph lines are like around that car, but I sure hope that parents are bringing their young daughters through that area to meet those drivers and meet those women who are representing themselves
Yeah.
so well in dirt racing. I think that's so awesome to see, and hopefully, they're all young and they're really early into their careers. Like the sky is the limit in terms of where they could potentially go if they want to. So
Hmm.
that's super awesome to see. Obviously, see Riley Slider regularly running in the mod lights as well too. So I just like that stuff. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for the young fans, and just keep going. I want to see more consistency out of them, and I want to see more visits from the girls down on the front stretch for wins in victory lane at Maryville and everywhere else. That'd be super awesome to see. So I just wanted to point that one out. Beef, we got to get into some reaction here. Um, I know I was a little bit of a spicy rant on the show last week. It definitely was a little bit of a strategic play on social media as well in terms of how I posted clips and whatever else. Um, I guess first off, I'm going to ask: did you catch any strays? Is anybody in your DMs blowing you up about anything I said and calling me an idiot on for you or on their behalf?
No, I did not catch any strays. I honestly did not hear a single thing about it, other than the comments that we got on the pages and stuff. That was all I heard about it. But
Yeah, for the most part, and nothing. There was a couple like odd things in YouTube, and I felt like I was debating before we started the show. I'm like, oh, do I want to have these up and like directly respond to these people on the podcast? And I don't know if that's the play. They didn't necessarily sign up to be used as content like that, other than
yeah,
to be in the comments section, and that's fine, that's fair. So let's leave it in the comments section for that stuff. I will say a couple things. For the most part, I pretty much only got good feedback on it. A lot of people in agreement, a lot of people saying, thank you for saying what you said. I agree with you. It needed to be said. Lots of things like that happening. And from a lot of people in and around racing in general, from multiple facilities, multiple tracks that I highly respect. And so for me, I think that was good. That was a little bit validating here. It's like I wasn't just an angry man yelling at the clouds who doesn't know what he's talking about. So that was nice. Appreciate all the kind words and everybody who reached out. Like I said, there was a couple random negative feedback things on comments and stuff, but nobody emailed us. Nobody found me at the track and punched me in the face. Nobody has called me. Nobody has directly messaged me about anything in any kind of negative way. So as far as I'm concerned, obviously what I said was not that egregious, aggressive. There was one person who did reach out to make a phone call, and we had a conversation. And I don't know if much was solved during that conversation, but I feel like I defended myself quite well in that conversation. And I think a lot of people. First off, I think anybody who had a problem with the actual like the whale shit hockey comment or whatever,
can I say on the whale shit hockey thing?
yeah, go for it.
The one funny, hilarious thing that came out of this was Boyd McChavish making that photo of Justin Sharp as the Shorzy guy. He put his face on it with senior wheelchair racing or whatever.
Yeah,
That was hilarious. Sorry to interrupt you, but I had to say that because
that was
I
good.
died laughing at that.
That was good. That was some quick thinking there. And look, I didn't say it to like in a like it sounds demeaning or whatever. It's a realistic way. And if anybody who has actually watched Shorzy, they know what the show is about and they get that reference. That yes, that's the level of hockey they're at. That doesn't mean that these people who are playing in this league didn't achieve things earlier in their careers and then are just trying to keep the dream alive. Or this
Mm-hmm.
is the route for a small town guy who never got selected, never got drafted, whatever. This is their way to stay in hockey. That's what the point is. It's not about like, oh, you're at this bottom level of hockey. Like, yes, you are. But at the same time, it's you trying to keep your dream alive, which is what
Yeah,
local racing is about. All of us have dreams to go be race car drivers and whatever else. And you have the opportunity to do that with the facilities that we have around us in Southern Ontario. So you have that. Why do you disrespect it? Why do you do what you do sometimes, what some guys do? Why do you step over the lines you do? Why do you disrespect your fellow competitors, the fans, whatever else, with some of the things? That was my whole point. It's not necessarily to be like, oh, you guys are never going to accomplish anything, because there's also great young talents who the sky is the limit for, as long as they find the right funding and the right budgets and they get in front of the right tracks and the right people and whatever. These things can happen. You can go from Merrittville and go ahead and make a career in racing and make a living from racing. We've seen it. Stuart Friesen, Matt Williamson. There's guys who are going, and that if all they had to do was go and race, they could make a living and do it. It's possible, but it's really rare, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, all that sort of stuff. Racing in general, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money. So just recognize where you're at, take care of each other, do the things you got to do to, I guess, you know, make this sustainable in the long term, right? That's the whole point of what I'm trying to get after. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, if you disrespect the facility over and over again, the staff, all this sort of stuff, we're not going to have racing. They'll just shut it down. They'll just pull the plug. They don't care. Like, there's at a certain point, you can only go through so many people in so many key positions of a facility that you're going to have that happen. And I again, a lot of this was a little bit directed because of the fact that we basically got a guy to quit being a race director at a racetrack, and that person is going to end up finishing this out. I talked to Tim Knapp, who's back, and he's going to finish out the season at Maryville right now. That's the plan. And then I don't know if he's coming back after that. I don't know if he wants to come back, all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're just going to get through the rest of this year, and that's good. And we'll see how it all plays out. Tower staff, we all have our backs. We're all going to take care of each other. We're all going to do what we can to make sure we get things right, as more often times than not, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, and then I think the other thing that I found funny is that, so the negative call that I got, again, I'm not going to like discuss exact details, but I feel like the people who were involved that may have prompted that phone call, they're some of the people who I would say are capable of achieving more or have achieved great things in racing already. You know, like you mentioned Justin Sharp because he was active in that comments. I don't sit here and think that, like, oh, Justin's one of those guys. Like, I know that if Justin had the right, I picked him at the start of the year to be one of the favorites in the modified division,
Yeah.
and he's proven me right based on his points rank. He is one of those guys that I would have picked and pointed to, that was like, hey, if you gave him whatever's under the Buzz Chew car, and you gave him the amount of time and experience and whatever else that Matt Williamson has, he could be achieving those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, but not everybody falls with those cards, and that's the point. That it's not a like, oh, you guys suck and you need to get your heads out of your asses, like whatever else, you're never going to achieve anything. It's just recognizing where you're at in the racing world right now, and how hard you need to race based on that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're hopefully going to talk to Corey Day next week on the Dirt Beers podcast. He's a guy who literally is chasing the dream, like sign that development deal as a sprint car guy to potentially be going and racing for Hendrick Motorsports in some kind of full-time capacity, maybe one day, right?
Yeah.
He's chasing that deal. How many steps, how much time and effort and whatever else did it take Corey to get on that radar of a Hendrick Motorsports, right? To even put himself in that position. That's something that we're going to hopefully have the chance to talk to him about next week. It sounds like we're like 50-50 on maybe closing that deal. It's maybe closer than
Yeah.
that, but he's definitely one of those guys that we're going to have coming up on our other podcast. And that's exactly the point. It's like, how much did he have to go from being a local racing star or whatever to that now having a shot, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. And so I don't mean it to like insult guys. It's not about insulting you. It's not about making you feel bad about yourself or whatever else. I'm not doing it to say that. I'm not saying stuff like that to say that. But
Yeah.
you know it, Beef. Like, there's a long run that you have to do to really get to the highest of high ranks, and we all want to see that. If anybody
Yep.
wants to go and achieve that, they're going to be the first person to go and support you and say, go for it. If the opportunity is there, if the money, everything else is there, go for it.
Yep.
Achieve it. Put Merrittville on
Yep.
the map, like Williamson has, like Friesen has, like anybody who has achieved great things from our racetrack has in the past. Go do it. Go do it from Oshweekend. Go be one of the best sprint car drivers that ever lived, because you trained at Oshweekend and that was your proving ground every Friday night. Go do it. Buxton, Brighton, Ransomville, all these stuff. Just go and do it if you want to do it. But the reality is most people just can't, and that's okay. And if you can't, then race in a way that's more respectful, more patient, and more self-sustaining and sustaining to the greater thing as a whole. So that was my point. That's what I was trying to get after with that podcast. And for the most part, a lot of people understood it. And I guess if you didn't understand it, then go watch Shoresy because it's a great Canadian television show. That's about all I got.
It is, Shorzy is a good show. I can 100% say that. But yeah, I think you worded it very well, Jonathan. So
All right. Well, with all that said, let's call it a day. We'll get back at it maybe with some more interviews and stuff next week. Roundup, and of course, no dirt beers this week, but we'll be back at it next week and we'll keep you posted on that sort of stuff. Beef, where's everybody keep up with dirt beers?
Dirt Beers, you can find us on Instagram at Dirt Beers, Dirt.Beers, sorry. If you want to find us on YouTube, it's the Dirt Beers podcast on YouTube. Check out all our episodes. We're up to 30 episodes, so if you haven't watched any, start at one and keep on going. But I've had some very good interviews on there. Some high level sprint car guys, couple high level late model guys, crew members, officials. Try to cover everything, everything under the sun for dirt racing wise. But yeah. Dirt Beers is also on TikTok. You can find us at Dirt Beers on TikTok. Post clips and stuff from the show. But yeah, other than that, if you want to find me personally on Instagram, it's at _beef. Yeah, feel free anytime anybody wants to send me a message, talk racing, or you have photo submissions for dirt beers or anything like that, feel free to reach out.
Sounds good. At SODS_POD, at SODS_pod. That's where you're going to find us on social media for this podcast. At Jonathon on air. That's where you're going to find me, JONATHON. How you spell Jonathan for the record. And with that, let's get out of here. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back to talk some more Southern Ontario dirt news and notes next week, and maybe even have a guest or two, depending on how the timing and all that works out. Later, everybody.